Hello everyone, my name is Marion with DTM Real Talk Channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love. Good evening. Welcome back to DTM Real Talk. And we have Jackie and Charles. And they left us hanging last week. They left us hanging last week, y'all.
Yes. Now come the real stuff.
They would tunnel through, man. They've been married 26 years. We want to hear how Jackie was able to deal with this non-communicating husband to the way she wanted him to communicate. And how Charles was able to trying to deal with his lack of trust because of trying to figure out where in the world has these children gone through so I can do what I need to do to be the husband and the father I need to be. I think that's where we are. So, yes. So Jackie, so how did, you're 26 years married. I mean, would you say, how did you guys, well, first of all, is the communication better today?
It is better.
Would you say on a scale from 1 to 10, what is it? What would you say it is?
I would say it's about 8. It's about 8.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's about 8. Yeah, he's improved. It took a lot of work, but he's improved.
Okay. So, how do you? What would you say? How did that happen? Talk to the folks about how did that happen. I know it was a process, a time in process. So how did it happen?
A labor of love. I had to change my mindset to say, he's not you. He does not know how to communicate with you. You have to teach him how to communicate with you. That came at a point to where I was just like, Lord, what do I do? You're gonna have to help me here. But I remember this old pastor saying something that stuck with me, and this was my changing point. Somebody got to dummy up.
Right.
That phrase stuck in my head to somebody has to dummy up, because if I'm communicating with you or you're not communicating or you're miscommunicating with me, somebody has to have an understanding of what's going on. So I'm going to listen effectively and respond responsibly.
Wow.
So I did not want to respond in anger, which I was known to do. So I had to listen with my spiritual person and not my natural person.
So what do you mean by that? Explain to the folks, what do you mean by that? Listen with your spiritual person. What do you mean by that?
I had to channel and go back to the basics of what Christ said and how he dealt with me in my Christian walk. He didn't reprimand me. He didn't reprimand me every time I did something wrong. He dealt with me in love. So I had to deal with him with that same mindset of Christ. I'm going to deal with you in love. I'm not going to lash out at you, because it's not going to get, for one, anywhere. And you're still not going to understand what I'm saying, because if you're not communicating with me on a natural level, you're not going to be able to communicate with me on a spiritual level. Okay. So what was the use of getting mad? So I had to reprogram, and I had to go back to what the basics, what would Jesus do? How would Christ handle this? And it just let me see in all the situations that Christ was in, he didn't respond to the people who were crucifying him in a negative manner. He kept that spirit of love, even to the crucifixion.
Okay. So you're saying, help me if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying you dealt with the communication issue or challenge with Charles by changing you.
Yes.
By changing your mindset.
Yes.
By not being so, like he said, yang, 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 yang,
yes.
And responding in anger or whatever the case might
yes.
be. So you changed.
Yes.
And in turn, it allowed him to change. Am I not correct?
Yes, he's still
okay. So he's an 8 now. He was a 1, y'all. He's an 8 now.
yeah. You know,
wonderful.
I wouldn't trade the journey from a 1 to an 8 for nothing, because it grew me.
Absolutely,
it grew me.
I like that, Jackie. I like that. I asked you, what you know, how did you make him better? How did he become better? And you turned the spotlight on God fixed me. He changed me. That's incredible. That's incredible. Ladies, y'all hear that out there? Y'all gotta stop that. Change your mindset.
Yes. Yes, that is.
I was guilty too. I ain't lying. I was guilty too. You know how we know when we right?
Yeah. Ooh, wait a minute, Marion. When you know you're right and you have to dummy up because it's the spirit that told you to hush. You know,
it's so many women out there today, they don't get that. They don't understand the concept. You know, if you want to be made high, you got to come low.
Girl, I had to take a nap after wrestling with myself to shut up.
You know, Mary, to touch on that, there's a lot of ways she could have negatively reacted to a lot of the stuff that she has done. One instance is she was crying one day and she wanted something to happen. And I didn't know how to, all I know is to be supportive to the point to where be visible is what I did. And then I asked her, I said, what do you want me to do? And she said, just tell me it's gonna be all right. And I'm like, oh, really? So I tried it. So when she got to that point to where she was about to, things just weren't going right, couldn't get ends to the meet, I told her, honey, don't worry about it. It's gonna be all right. And she was right. That's all she needed to hear.
Yep.
And that snapped her right back into place. I'm like, woo, yes.
It really worked, huh?
I am very willing to step into this thing no matter how bad it gets, because you're willing to work with me. I am going to work with you.
Awesome. So you kind of basically answered the question I was going to ask you, but I'm going to ask you again for the sake of the good folks out there now.
So sorry.
That's all right. So, no, you good. This is real talk, baby. This is real talk. This ain't no the people need to hear real. They need to hear that this is life. This is who we are. This is what we go through. And here it is. I'm going to tell it to you and how I made it over, or how I didn't, or how I've grown. Now, my question to you is, you were dealing with that getting a break too, because she was and you trying to build your trust up. So how did you get to the point where you finally felt, well, you know, maybe they're going to accept me, or maybe you didn't care whether they accepted you or not? Where were you? The trust.
I was to the point to where, okay, maybe I have to try a different tactic. There's got to be a different way of an approach, because these are not children that I fathered. So because I didn't father them, maybe I have to back off a little bit, not too far to where they go out there and hang themselves, because it's still going to be on my watch. It's not going to happen. So I still had to walk on eggshells, which I am I'm a very private, proudful, I'm pig-headed, and I'm stubborn in my ways. And it's either my way or the highway. That was my attitude. So I had to revert. I said, okay, it's not all about me. I have to pour my life into these children, because if they didn't have a positive influence in their lives, I got to be that positive. Wow. No matter how much it knocks me down. I have got to just stay firm, stay to my guard, but put my arm around them. And that's what I had to do. And that's how I did it.
Wow. On both of you parts, I'm listening to you. The way you handled the issue at hand was basically humility, the both of you. That was amazing. Humility, the ability
Mm.
to deny yourself for somebody else, the ability to look at you and say, you know what, it ain't truly about me.
Absolutely.
So I applaud you both for that. And so now, where are you right now, would you say, in your marriage? And yeah, in your marriage, what do you say? You're not 100, nobody is. So
No.
you're handling the differences that you may have. Name one or two that you have that are different, Jackie. Y'all have some differences. Name one or two right now, and how do you deal with that? Differences. Yeah, just differences.
Okay. I am a feeler. He's a reactor. When knowing my body language. So he's gotten that down pat over the course of the years. He knows my body language. He can read me like nobody else can.
Wow. Yeah.
So he can read me like nobody else can.
Thank you, Jesus.
But the difference is I'm a feeler, he's not. I am I think I am a good communicator. I would say I'm an excellent communicator. He's a good communicator. So, so the reason I picked those two is because there's two things that I have learned over the course of the years that you just can't do with a wife or a female. Okay. You cannot upset her security and her stability. We want to know that our husbands can protect us and provide for us. Okay. So when something's not going right and he reads my body language, he's going to instantly know that I'm out of those two things. Either you're not protecting me or you're not financially covering me. So he has learned over the years that he can read those two with that spot on. Okay. All right. Well, since you mentioned it, would you say that the number one challenge, I won't say issue or problem, the number one challenge in a marriage, what would you say would be number one? Communication or finances? Charles, answer that. Communication. I would say communication, because if you're communicating with them, the financial part, they're not going to be surprised by anything so financial. I'm a saver, he's a spender. Okay, so when our financial status, he doesn't have any qualms about that. As long as he can go to the light switch and turn it on and something comes out of it, he's good with that. And I am very good with finances. So he doesn't even worry about any type of financial, none. But as far as the communication part, if I communicate with him, okay, I'm gonna give you a scenario. When there's a short paycheck, he's gonna hear my mouth. He's gonna say, I'm gonna say, honey, we got bills we gotta pay, or this is coming up. So he's gonna instantly know I need to work some overtime because she done already said something. So I'm communicating with him about the financial status. So he's taking that communication that I'm giving him and he's giving me back what he's financially setting the stage and saying, okay, what do I need to do to fix this financial crisis that you see we finna have, but I can't see it. Okay, I got you. So with those, out of everything that we have been through the course of the years, and trust me, we have been through plenty. We've been there, done that. Communication has always been, and it will always be a challenge. All the way up. I mean, I don't care if we're together 60 years, we're gonna always have a communication challenge because I'm female and he's male. We don't communicate the same. Absolutely not. Now, what I'm told, and I do believe, is that the male has to learn.
Mary, you still there?
I'm here. You just froze for a moment.
Hello.
Yeah, you guys are frozen.
Marianne.
It's okay. We'll just talk. No, you have to learn her and she has to learn you.
Mhm.
So that takes care of the communication if you're both willing to talk about what you need to
Right.
learn about me and what I need to learn about you. The
Mhm.
problem is that most couples don't communicate. And I ain't no mind reader.
Exactly.
And I don't think the opposite sex is a mind reader either. So then you got two proud people
Mhm.
because they don't want to communicate. So
Right.
what is that? That's terrible. That's a disaster. That's why
Well,
yeah.
I'm pushy. I'm gonna make him communicate with me. I'm gonna talk him until he either walks. I'm gonna let him know this is bothering me.
Right.
You're gonna know. He's gonna know. He don't have a choice. He's gonna know.
So, Charles, so what would you say to that comment?
I learned from an individual to where there's two people in a relationship. There's two chemicals that makes a relationship effective. One is called respect and the other one is love. A man wants to be respected. A woman wants to be loved. If I'm not loving her, I'm not going to get the respect from her. If she's not respecting me, she's not going to get the love from me.
That's right.
I don't have that love in me. She has it in her. She don't have that respect in her. I have it in me. So those are the two aspects that we always work with, because she's going to teach me what I need to know. I need to be visible. I'm going to teach her what I need to know. She has to be receptive. It's two differences. That's what keeps us going. Because if I get to the point to where I've learned so much in this marriage that it just blows my mind that she's still here, because others have taken a hike because they have a different agenda. So with that different agenda that they have, if you don't have those two chemicals that I use in your marriage, you don't have a marriage. It's just that simple. You just don't have one. Absolutely. Because that's what the Bible says. Man needs to be respected. A woman needs to be loved, period.
Wow.
I don't know how to do that. I learned it from her. She don't know how to do that. She get it from me. So if I'm loving her, she's going to give me the respect. If she respected me, she's going to get the love. And it works.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, y'all. We just speak the real. I was going to tell you to speak to the couples out there, but you done already did. But I am going to say this. What would you say, Jackie? This is what I want you to direct to your ladies out there. Mm-hmm. What would you say to the ladies out there that are married right now and are struggling because they want to continue to live the single life and not make the commitment of marriage? What would you say to that?
I would say, allow your husband to be who God has called him to be. Doesn't mean you have to be any lesser of a person, but allow him to do what God has called him to do and support him through that. He may not make all the right decisions, but he's not making a decision to hurt you. If he genuinely loves you and has a heart for Christ, he will seek headquarters first. We need to be more supportive of our men. We need to stop trying to run over them and be beside them. Not saying you have to lag behind, but you be supportive. You be his helpmeet. Don't tear him down. Help build him up. Don't get with your friends and say this, that, and the third, what he didn't do, what he did do, because for everything that he didn't do, you probably didn't do too.
All right then. We just keep
so, if you point one finger, you got three pointed back at yourself. So you have to do a self-examination of yourself. What are you bringing to the table?
Absolutely.
And don't break out the lazy Susan and try to spin that table thing around and just point all the way over there. Because you know what? You're gonna have to face it for yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Just keep it real. Now, Brother Charles,
Yeah.
what would you say to the brothers out there that are in their marriages and struggling with any issue within their marriage? What advice would you give them?
First advice I would give them, do you really want your marriage to work? Period.
Ooh-wee.
If you really want your marriage to work, then you're going to swallow the ideas that you have stepping away from your marriage. Anybody that's going to tell you anything outside of your marriage to move you outside your marriage, you leave them alone. You don't need to listen to that. That's not what you need to hear. It's easy to pop over someplace else, but how much easier is it for you allow her to do the same thing? So what you're doing, that means you allow her to do the same thing. And if you do allow her to do the same thing and you still do what you're doing, you don't have a marriage. You got a partnership.
and
That's not a
listen to
marriage.
your wife. No, I'm just kidding.
So if you really want your marriage to work, you find out what she likes. You find out what makes her feel good. You find out her interest, and you step out on those. There are items that she will watch, like The Nanny. She's got a squeaky voice. I mean, squeaky. So when she watches that to spend time with her, I'll watch that with her. I don't like it, but I'll watch it with her. If watching sports is my favorite thing to do, if she want me to do something, I'm leaving sports alone. I'm gonna dive into sports. Is gonna be there. I'll see that at another time. They're not putting any money in my pocket in the first place. So the first thing that I tell a guy is, do you really want your marriage to work? Do you really want your marriage to work? Then you suck it up. And you suck it up by saying you swallow your pride and you be in her beck and call. You give her whatever she wants, however you can give it to her. And if you can't give it to her, you give her your best. And you let her know, honey, I'm here for you, no matter what. Period.
I think you just said love break bones.
It will tear them apart. It will tear them apart. And if you don't think that you have that strong love for her, bend to her. Bend to her. If you bend, B-E-N-D, if you bend to her and she alone, and you don't worry about what else is out there waiting or lurking for you, stick with that one. It's going to grow. If she wants to be there, since she wants to be there, then you show that you are going to be there no matter what. She's the only one. Only one. There is no other. There's no room for any other. You can't have a negative mindset to say, oh, well, I just go over here, give me a little piece, and I come back with you whenever I want to. That's not solving a problem. That's creating another problem. It's easy to do that. Let's do the hard thing. Stick with it. If she hits you with a skillet, you just wake up and say, honey, hit me on the other side. Here it is. You keep on knocking my brains out. You're going to have a dummy for a husband. It won't be my fault. That's the approach that I have. If the men will take the woman like a flower, just like Christ said, she's the weaker vessel, not to the point to where she's dumb and stupid. No, she's the weaker vessel because you're going to be held accountable for the action that you produced on her. It's going to be the man's fault, whether you saved or not. God's going to hold you accountable. I'm being held accountable for three things: for being a husband, for being a father, and for being a provider. Everything else you can throw out the window. Those three things, for me, that's what I'm going to be held accountable for. And I don't take those lightly. Wow. So if it's my wife, I ain't got no room for another woman. Since I'm a provider, then I don't have to worry about somebody outside my house. I got to take care of this one. So those three things, those are my key. And that key, no matter what she throw at me, I say, okay, Lord, how am I going to approach this? I say, so sometimes you have to dummy up. That don't mean that I'm a chump. That means that I love this woman and I want the best for her. And she's the only one that's going to rat on me or sling mud on me. I'm not going to let somebody else do it. She's going to be the only one to do it because at the end of the day, she's going to have my back. Period.
All the way, 210%.
That's what I tell me.
Well, thank you for talking to the folks out there. Well, guys, you guys have been wonderful. And we have enjoyed the story. I'm sure they have. We just want you to know this is DTM Real Talk, and we're just keeping it real. We really are. Yes. We really are speaking to couples out there. This month is amazing. Next month is going to be amazing. And I'm just so excited because these are real, true marriage stories, things that they have gone through tunneled through, dealt with, failed at, victories at. This is life. This is life.
Yeah.
This is life.
Yeah.
So once again, this is DTM Real Talk, and we are just keeping
it real.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.